Today on the ONS podcast, we have Leon Taylor with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. In this episode, we talk a lot about his story and his motivations and his training and his diet plan. You know, this guy has played internationally, and now he's right here in Florida with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. I hope you enjoy this podcast with Leon Taylor. Well, we're here.
Yeah.
We're on the podcast. Yeah. We've been trying to coordinate this for a little while now, and so welcome to the ONS podcast.
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
happy to be here. Was trying to get out here for a while, like you said.
Yeah, so I'm glad you made the trip down, and it's really an honor to have you. So we're gonna just start from the beginning. You know, let's hear your story. You know, for those of you that don't know, this is Leon Taylor. He's a Tampa Bay Rowdy, and I just want to hear what got you into soccer. You know, tell me about your family. Let's start from the beginning.
How it all started, let me think. You know, like most of the athletes that are, you know, started from a super young age. And my family, all of us, from my sister all the way down to me. My sister's the oldest in our family, and she was a track star, you know, and a basketball star, played professional basketball in Italy. She was the first one in our family who really, you know, started it off, and she's the girl. She's really, you know, the oldest out of all of us, and then it goes down the line, and so I had a lot of great athletes to look up to, starting with my sister, and then it goes, you know, Alfred Jr., Lorenzo, and Angelo, and then me, the
You're
youngest.
the baby.
I'm the youngest one, and so just from the womb, really, like, I was at football games, I was at basketball games, I was at track meetings and stuff, meets like that. So that's all I really, like, saw growing up. So I almost obviously didn't have to, but, you know, like a young kid in a family, like, I want to be just like my older brothers and sisters. So seeing that just really just kind of pushed me and motivated me to try to, you know, find my sport, find what I was the best at, because they were the best at what they did, you know. Different avenues. None of my brothers played basketball, while my sister did. You know, all my brothers were football players and track athletes. So, you know, coming down to me, I played football as well, and I played basketball as well, and I played soccer, just because, and even track. You know, I anything they did, I did. So I tried all those, but at the same time, even though that was their avenue, and, you know, that was their kind of rise, how they, you know, became the people they were today. Through their sports, they were also not, you know, forcing me to do what they were doing, you know what I mean? So when I picked up a soccer ball, in a lot of families or in a lot of places, you know, you pick up a soccer ball, especially, like, you know, as African American, they're like, hey, put that, like, pick up a football, you know what I mean? Pick up a basketball or something like that. But they weren't like that at all. You know, they were if that's what you want to play, that's what you want to play, you know. That's what
Did they expose you to I mean, obviously you were naturally exposed to all the different sports like football, basketball. Were they putting you into those sports, or were you just kind of was this more on your own?
Right. When there was, you know, you can't really start certain sports until you're a certain age. So
right.
The beginnings of, like, my sports days were really just backyard playing with my older brothers and sister. Really, it was, you know, going in the backyard and making two poles as a touchdown, or making two poles as a soccer goal, or, you know, shooting the hoop, or racing on the street. You know, it was just like all, like, strictly the only, like, I guess, what's the word for it? Like, actual, like, sports that I legitimately got to watch and was theirs. You know what I mean? Like, that I was there and watching. So that's really all I saw. I didn't really get into, like, trying to think of the word, like organized sports.
Okay.
Yeah, organized sports until I was probably, I'd say, a little bit older. You know, even football, like I didn't get to start playing, like, tackle football until I was a little bit, like, 8, 9, 10, those ages. Soccer, you can start a little bit earlier.
Right.
So, you know, I started soccer as soon as you possibly could.
Yeah.
Which I think it was like 5 when I actually started playing, and, like, on a team and stuff like that. But
is that at that age, did you feel like you knew this was going to be your sport?
Yeah. When I was younger, that's when ask any like athlete or anybody, like the younger usually they were, the easy, like the better they were compared to, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
as you get older, the competition, if you push yourself to like, you know, to try to reach the highest levels, you know, then you're not gonna just dominate like you did against a 5-year-old rec team that you
Right.
used to play for, you know what I mean?
Right.
So as I got older and I started getting on better teams and like started playing older age groups and stuff like that, you know, things changed. But when I was younger, it was like I was the best player, like always, you know,
Right.
when I was on a team or stuff like that. So like you kind of, it was like you could see it, you know what I mean? But never did I think like, oh, I'm gonna be a pro soccer player, and I know it from like day one. Like I love football too. I really did. I love football.
What position did you play in football?
In football, I was like receiver.
Of course.
I was a receiver.
You're tall. What are you, 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah, like 6'3". But I wasn't always tall, honestly. When I was younger, I was just like, not even, I wouldn't even say average, probably more just like a little bit below average.
On the lower end,
yeah,
okay.
on the lower average, and I kind of hit a growth spurt.
Okay, nice.
Later in life, but yeah, I really loved football and basketball just as much at a young age. I loved it just as much as I love soccer. I really did, and I was, you know, like my family was football players, so like I was good at football as well. So like there was definitely times in my life where I was like, I think I might, you know, want to, because all my older brothers played it, you know what I mean? So like I said, again, everything in my life, it's been a lot just like looking up and seeing what they're doing.
It's got to be great motivation to see, you know, have all these people to look up to and to keep grinding and pushing. And I mean, I'm sure that's been crucial to your success as a player so far.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it's truly just motivation.
Right.
Like seeing your own family, your own blood performing like at a high level, or just not even, it doesn't even necessarily have to be at a high level. It could just be like, you know, like a high school game or anything, you know.
Absolutely.
If I see my brother go out and, you know, I like, for instance, you know, run back a punt return like I did, I would see that and I'd just be like beaming, you know what I mean? Like all my friends, like, because all of our older brothers were, you know, at the school, like, you know, sports is big in Texas. So, you know, just
football's big in Texas.
Football's big in Texas. And, you know, just going to the games and stuff and be able to see my brothers ball out. And, you know, that's like my 5 older brothers. So I'm just proud, you know what I mean? Just, you know, like just happy about that. So that was just like always motivation and being able to like try to do it back to them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So what was your motivation to stick with soccer and pursue that?
Well,
what was that moment like?
As I got older, I just kind of kept excelling in soccer. You know, I kept on, you know, and I just kept on like getting better and better. In football, like I was getting better, basketball was getting better, but soccer was just kind of like,
you were an outlier there.
Yeah, exactly. Like I did well. I did very, very well. So, I'm not gonna say it chose it for me, but like, I just kind of made sense. Like I should be in this. Like this should be the sport I'm in.
Okay.
Just because of like, just, you know, how everything was coming. You know, how well I was doing and stuff like that. It just, you know, it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, obviously you played since you were 5. I mean, were you always in a soccer league since you were 5 years old, and then played all the way through middle school, high school, all that?
Yeah. So, like we said, soccer usually like the age that everybody starts playing is around like 5 or 6. So, when I was younger, you know, I was like in like rec leagues and stuff like that. That, you know, it's kind of just anybody gets to come and plays, you know. And like as I got older and older and older, you know, and it was taken more seriously and you know, we kind of made that transition out of, you know, playing in just any rec leagues. So then we're starting to like, you know, play at clubs and, you know, stuff like that. So as I got older, it got more and more organized, more and more just, you know, just more taking it more and more serious. So I'd say when like I was at around 9 or 10, that's when I like really started like playing club soccer. And then after playing club soccer for a little bit, then I had the opportunity, you know, the coaches were saying that it would be a good idea or a good decision for me to start playing for the older team.
Okay.
That, you know, like that 2 years up from me. So then I did that, and that was kind of a change too, because then I'm no longer, the fastest player or the strongest player or necessarily even the best player. Now I'm competing against boys that are older than me and stuff like that. So it's just like constantly like a kind of a learning curve and trying to like get yourself back to the top. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I mean, I go back and forth between this as well because I've got kids, so we're constantly balancing like, okay, we want them to be with older kids to like push them whatever sport or organized thing that they're doing,
mm-hmm.
but you also want them to gain the confidence,
right? Yeah.
And a lot of that confidence is gained when they are on the older end,
mm-hmm.
and they're so it's
yeah.
Did you find that as far as like when you were the lowest guy on the totem pole,
mm-hmm.
did you find that motivation to like, I want to be on the top?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Like you said, you get your confidence when you're winning and scoring goals and
absolutely.
the best player of the team. You don't know, not many people get confidence from not playing, and not being the best player. Like it's not really much confidence in that. So I guess you got to kind of find like a different avenue, to motivate you in that time. So if you want to be the best and you're not, then there's only one thing that can happen. You know what I mean? One thing that you can do to become the best, and it's just work.
Right.
So I was either gonna like not be the best on that team and it not work out and me not grind to the top or vice versa. So I think I think it's case to case. You know what I mean? Like it's what the kid I guess could take, how they are, their mental and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, it's obviously a balance of like having those wins, gaining that confidence, because so much of this is so mental.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
sure.
it's not just about having motivation. You have to have that mental like fortitude as well to continue. But was there like, when was the moment that you're like, I want to do this professionally? This is the thing that I want to do for a job.
Right. Grown from when I was like first born, I knew like I wanted to be a professional athlete. I just didn't know what sport really, So like that, even growing up, like I always knew that was like everybody's, goal in my family really was like everybody wanted to go to the leagues in any whatever league they were that, their sport was. So same thing when I was younger, like I just knew I wanted to go be a pro athlete. Like that was just my dream always. And I'd say when I knew that like I was like I need like like because as a kid and as you get older and older, like realistic, like some things become unrealistic.
Right.
And as I got older, I was like, okay, I probably I don't know if I'm gonna be a professional basketball player. I'm not that tall, I mean, stuff like that. So then it was like football and soccer, but I was better at soccer. So I was just like, and I loved it. I loved the game so much. So I was like that. I'd probably say around ages of like 10 to 11 to 12, like in that middle school time.
Right.
I would say would be the time that I was just like, yeah, I think soccer is gonna be the sport, but I wasn't gonna stop playing football because I love football just as much, really.
Right.
But I just knew, soccer I was special in. So I wanted to continue down that path.
Well, I mean, obviously that was the right decision.
Yeah.
I mean, you've gone really far so far, and obviously you're continuing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about let's progress a little bit further down. You had the opportunity to play over in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is soccer big in Texas? Is that I mean, I know football's king,
right?
But is it big at all? Like, okay,
no, for sure. All sports in Texas, just because it's such a massive state, and there's so many different races, so it's not just like one race. So there's so many different. So it's kind of just like a cluster of just
just an eclectic mix of all that.
Of all that. So soccer is definitely like there's some big clubs out in Texas. FC Dallas Texans, Andromeda. Houston Dynamo. Those clubs that are youth clubs, but also have professional teams as well. They're big cities, big clubs. And I played in the Dallas Cup, which is like the Dallas Cup is basically like the biggest youth tournament in all of America.
Oh wow.
And it's out of Dallas.
Okay.
So every like teams from overseas, like Premier League youth teams, come over. You know,
Oh,
we
wow.
played against Arsenal.
Okay. Did you really? Wow.
Yeah. So
what was this? In the 15?
this was when I was 17 years old.
Okay.
So I was about to go to college pretty soon.
Okay.
And that's when, you know, there's obviously a big youth tournament like that. A lot of college teams are out there. So I got a lot of exposure from that as well.
Did you eventually get picked up by a university?
Yeah, I did.
Which one?
Committed my first university. Went to a D1 school in Oklahoma called Oral Roberts University.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
I know
was
that
out
one.
there. Yeah, I was out there for a year, and then I committed to University of Charlotte.
Okay.
But things didn't work out there with just eligibility, so I ended up not going to University of Charlotte and going to Incarnate Word in San Antonio, which is another D1 school out in Texas. So I was out in Texas for a bit.
Okay.
In college as well.
So what team did you play for when you were in Europe?
Bodens BK. It's
Okay.
a second division team in Sweden, and it's a little town, small town, real slow moving, just a small.
Yeah, because that's what I want to get into is like, you know, here you are transferring not just to another club but to another country, to where it's a completely different culture. You're playing with guys that have literally just been born and bred into soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is life, you know, for them. So what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I left out of school, and I had still time that I had to finish up and graduate, but I just knew that like this is what I wanted to do, and I had the opportunity, so I felt like I needed to just take it right now. And so I went over there. My agent I had a contract over there, and I went over there and lived in a house with three other my teammates in an apartment, in like a 5-bedroom apartment, and it was actually a good club. You know, it was well run, like a established club in Sweden, so it was good, and it was not just a culture change, you know, not just a climate change, but it was like a lifestyle change when it comes to going from college to, you know, to that, like, to the level of like these guys are doing it for their job.
I was gonna say
the coaches are doing it for, you know, there's no like, okay, go to class,
right?
Okay, and when you're done with class, come, you know what I mean, it's shifted from that to we're trying to make money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
and you're actually getting paid.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. So that was kind of eye opening, because you don't get, there's no more like getting babied or anything like that, like, because you're not dealing with kids really so much anymore, like grown men with families and stuff like that. So it was, you know, it was eye opening, and it kind of just, you know, it grew me up as well.
Right.
You know?
I can imagine. I mean, most people don't experience that right out of college. They go to another country and essentially get paid to do something that they love. You know, it's just that's a really cool experience. So what was it like, you know, as far as the difference between, you know, these guys, you know, playing in another country that have been born and bred into this sport? You know, I mean, I'm sure that you noticed a marked difference between playing collegiately and playing professionally.
Yeah, for sure.
So how was that transition?
The first bit of it, so the first like every game I actually played with him, I scored. So it was kind of like boom, like, you know, it was good, and it kind of was like almost a false sense of like, because I scored, and it was, you know, I was like, oh, okay, easy. And then like fast forward like a, you know, couple weeks, and, you know, I'm not in the same form, you know, I didn't like, so I'm like, okay, like it's a bit of a it's gonna be a grind again, like you say, you know, you got to grind back to the top, you know, every step that in any, like in the real world too, in a job, you know, you go to a different job, you're not known there, you have to, like, who are you know what I mean? So it's the same thing, you know, some college kid from Texas, we brought him all the way out here, like, who is this? So it was just.
Did that put a target on your head?
No, honestly,
no. They welcomed you.
They
okay.
welcomed me.
That's
They welcomed me. They were all like, I still talk to some of them to this day from out there. So, you know, it was never like that, because, you know, we all were in the same goal. We had all the same goal. You know, same love for the game, play the same sport. So it wasn't really like a competition or like, who's this guy trying to come. It was all love. You know, I mean, those older guys took me under their, you know, shoulder, and and kind of some of them showed me, you know what I mean, just tried to help me, and you need that.
Yeah.
You really do need that. So that was good.
What was the most eye-opening thing for you when you played over there?
I'd say probably just the business aspect of it.
Okay.
Just
kind of got you introduced into that whole world.
Exactly. Just I remember there was only 2 American guys on the entire team. It was me and another guy named Michael Mercado from California. And I remember we lost a game, and the GM of the team brought us into the office, and this was like second or third week, and he was just like real blunt with us and real basically just told us, like, we brought you out here to help us win games, we brought you all the way from America. There's a whole world of people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he kind of just like sat us down and was like, this is real, this is what it is, you know. And it kind of just I already knew that, you know what I mean, but just he just sat us down and basically, you know, was basically not having none of it. Like, show up every day, you know what I mean? Like, do what you need to do what we brought here to do, you know what I mean? There's no like off day, like not feeling well, you know what I mean? It's none of that.
Yeah.
It's really none of that. And it was a strict club too. Like, it was a good club, so, you know, they had high hopes, high, you know, standards and stuff like that. So it was good, you know. It almost helped me going out and being by myself than to being comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it developed me because I was playing around good players as well. So it was good, and I had a very, very good year over there. So, you know.
How long were you over there?
I was over there for almost just about a year. I'd say
okay.
I'd say 8.5, 9 months I was over there for. And I got to come back mid-season. We had a week break, so I got to fly back mid-season back to Texas and spend it with my family. I needed that. I did. I needed that. I was not getting burnt out, but I just missed the family. Like, I missed America.
Yeah, I bet.
I missed Texas.
Yeah.
So that was really it was midway point, and obviously all my family and friends were keeping in contact with me and keeping eye out for me, you know, playing and things like that. And I was doing well, so I was coming back. It was like a welcome, you know. It was good. It was a really good time back in Texas. I got to see all my friends. Went back to my old college and saw them, watched a game from my old university to play at, you know, Midwestern State. So it was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then you got picked up by the Rowdies.
Yeah.
And now you're in your second season.
Right.
With them.
Right.
So that's your story. I mean, this is where you are so far, and obviously you're progressing more and more. And you know, we'll get to what your future looks like. Mm-hmm. But I want to kind of break down some of your mentality when it comes to soccer. Mm-hmm. Do you have any sort of game day routines, like things that you do, you know, every single time you have a game? You know, certain things that you tell yourself. Mm-hmm. What do you have any of that? I
do. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but every game day I clean my house and I wash my car and I vacuum out my car.
Okay.
And every game day.
It's almost like it's meditation for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I do that, but every game day, I just wake up, I make breakfast, obviously, and then just if my house isn't, I almost wait until game day, because that's my cleaning day. You know, that's my day that I get everything done. I don't know if it's because I don't want to think about the game. You know, I want to be doing something.
So trying to distract yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because if I'm just sitting down, I'm just gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
You know, just itching to play. You know, so I don't know if it's that I need to do something or move, or if it's I feel like if everything is in order at home as well. Not to say that just because your house is clean, everything is in order, but just knowing, you know, I'm organized and clean and stuff like that, it makes me just, you know, feel good, you know. So that's what I'd say my game day ritual is. Just cleaning the house and cleaning my car. I FaceTime my mom and dad and talk to them, talk to my brothers, you know.
Yeah.
I really talk to my family, talk to my friends all day and all throughout the day. But those are the main things I do.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan, what's that Jordan Peterson thing about making your bed? You remember that?
Yeah, it's one of his 12 rules
Yeah.
for life.
So what's the principle behind making your bed? Do you remember? Because I can't remember off the top of my head.
I'm going to butcher it if I try to.
You can do it though.
It's something about, the idea of living in a balance between chaos and order. And he talks about one of his 12 rules is like, make sure that your room is straight, before you every morning make your bed, wake up and make your bed. And that's that is a sign, from there you project order into your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just basically wake up and do the right thing, do the thing that you're supposed to do, make your bed in the morning, brush your teeth, do these things, and everything from there, follows suit.
Yeah, I like that.
That was super eloquent,
I like
man.
that.
Yeah, you killed that.
No, I like that. That was good.
Not
I
a
like
butchering at all. So that would totally make sense then, because obviously one of the most chaotic things you probably deal with in your day or in your life is a game. I mean, there's no structure. I mean, obviously you have the structure of the rules, but you can't control.
Yeah, I know what's gonna happen.
You can't control what happens.
Right.
You can only control what you do.
Right.
That's really interesting. Okay, so you clean your house, clean your car, talk to your parents. Anything else? What are you listening to?
I want to say, I'm listening to music 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I guess I just feel like that's just. I feel like everybody listens to music on game day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just music, but that's not even just game day. Music is going 24/7 out through my house, at all times.
Do you have a specific song or artist that you listen to that kind of right before the game?
I listen to a lot of Future.
Okay.
I listen to
Solid.
a lot of Future. I listen to a lot of Lil Baby. I like Drake. He's gotta be in there.
Yeah.
Meek.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of different artists, but those ones are probably some of my main. I know I'm forgetting some, but those right now, yeah, that's what I listen to a lot.
So take me behind the scenes on a game day as far as, you get to, what time do you, how early do you have to get to the stadium?
About hour and a half to 2 hours before.
Okay.
Get to the stadium. They don't make us get there a long time before or nothing like that.
Right.
Say an hour and a half to 2 hours before, and you just pull up to the stadium and you come in, you greet everybody, just in whatever your ritual is. From there, you just begin to do it. If you get a massage, or if you need to get into the hot tub or the ice bath or anything like that, need to ride the bike, anything like that. And then there's team meeting.
Okay.
And that's just going through lineups, going through the other team's lineups, going over anything, any small details that you need to know before the game that haven't been covered in that practice week.
So do you find out what if you're starting on that day, or do they tell you prior?
It depends. Usually you kind of have an idea of the starting lineup just because through trainings and practices you kind of they have the pairings of defenders and midfielders and forwards. You have to work together.
Okay.
So you usually kind of have an idea, but there is days that they're still they're unsure of the look that the other team's going to give us, or how a certain player's feeling, if they're feeling well or not, or informed, just stuff like that.
Okay.
But for the most part, you kind of have a good idea of the starting lineup.
Okay. In that pregame meeting, obviously you're going through the details. Now, obviously, I know every coaching staff's different, but is there any sort of mantra or something that the Rowdies say before every game, to get you guys motivated? Is there some sort of epic speech that the coach delivers to kind of get you guys hyped? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's that also is kind of game to game as well. There's not to say that there's different games, different severe levels of different games, because you're supposed to prepare the same way for every game, but just a regular season game, you're going to feel different inside than the championship game, or a rivalry game than just a low bottom. Like I said, you're probably supposed to, get up the same every game, but just emotions of a human, you have different emotions. If your family's in a game, it's just different,
Right.
So there's definitely different game to game. Sometimes the coach will come out and it's short and sweet. Short and sweet. You guys know what you need to do. Go out there and perform. Mm-hmm. We've been through this. We've been training for this. And then there's a certain game that he's talking for a while and he's screaming, and he's yelling and cursing and just get us up. Or if he's feeling that we're not up, he wants to get us up, or if he's feeling like we're too high, you know, then he'll maybe calm us down, bring it back us down. So it's really just more like a combination of what the team is, how the team is, who the team you're playing, what the coach is thinking, you know, and what he feels he needs to do to make the team perform. So it's just there's a lot of variables, but definitely there's days that he's trying to get us up, you know, and giving some speeches, you know, for sure.
Nice. So switching to more of like the training side of things, what is what is your training regimen currently right now? Now that you're in season, what do they have you doing?
So every day we the same thing. You have to show up an hour. You have to report like an hour before the training session actually starts. So if training starts at 8, you have to be there at 7, or if it starts at 9, you have to be there at 8, or, you know, just always usually an hour before the session, just so you can get your pre-work in.
Okay.
Like I said, different guys have to do different things, or battling certain injuries, they have to do certain things before training. In that hour, you're either like, you know, in the hot tub, like I said, or getting something worked out. But the training schedule usually is on the board in the locker room, like the itinerary of what's going to happen at training session. So you can see if it's going to be a difficult session, or if you can see if it's going to be a lighter session, and you can also base your pre-work off of that, you know, how you have to be ready for it. But the sessions that we run at Tampa are very, very high intensity.
Yeah.
Very, very, like, it's just all grind. Like the coaches and the staff really try to pound that into us. It's just work really. And they've been doing that really since last season.
Is there any sort of like weight training that's involved?
Yeah. So we have specific weight training days that we do. It's not so much more. It's not at near like what part of the season we're at right now. It's kind of changed over, you know, the season. Now it's more like pre-injury, like not to get hurt type things.
Okay.
So like lunges, like just stuff like that is trying to basically not get you bigger, or necessarily even like you're getting stronger, but not to get you bigger. More is just prevent an ACL tear.
I was going to say you need a certain amount of muscle strength to prevent injuries.
Mm-hmm. So that's what it is. We got a strength and conditioning coach, and basically his entire job is just to like he does all the workouts, the warming up of us. He monitors our how much we've ran in a practice and like all that. We have GPSs, so it's just all like
so they're monitoring all that.
Right. So they monitor. Yeah, there's another guy that just all he does is he's on the laptop on the computer, and he tells the weight training guy like who's ran this amount, you know what I mean, like how much. If somebody hasn't ran enough, then after practice they have to do more running.
They can just like go take laps.
Well, it's just like a workout that he has. So like if somebody hasn't hit their certain amount of numbers that they've hit, it'll be like a few players, and at the end they'll have to do like sprints to get that in.
So is it individualized to the actual player? So like
each of us have to wear a GPS.
Okay, so is it, so say a midfielder who's going to do more running in a game than, let's say, a defender, is a midfielder required to put in more miles than somebody who's like a goalie or a defender at practice?
Yeah, no. Oh. Well, the field players and keepers, the keepers don't have to do any when it comes to like their distance doesn't matter. Like they're outside of it. The field players are the ones who have to hit a certain number, but no, all the field players need to hit the same number.
Same number. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's no difference between that.
Difference.
Okay, interesting. Mm-hmm. So what is the? Do you have like a nutritionist or something that like kind of guides your meals?
No, not as much. More if we need someone to talk to, or he gives us tells us what we should be eating and stuff like that. Is also the weight training guy, and he basically tells us what our diet should look like and stuff like that, but
like recommendations.
Right, exactly, recommendations. But to like a actual nutritionist like of my own, I don't have anything like that.
What's he telling you guys to eat?
Oats, stuff like that. Food that has a lot of like nutritional value in it that doesn't harm you in any other way. But I'd say like oats, berries, and stuff like that. He really says that, you know.
So things that give you long lasting energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
not like requiring any sort of like specific protein intake or fat intake or anything like that.
No, he doesn't really. I'm sure like if we were to speak with him, you know,
Yeah.
and he knows all of that.
Right.
But, you know, doesn't really like sit us all down and is like, hey, you guys need this much, this much, this much,
Right.
this much.
Interesting. I mean, obviously you probably find yourself eating just insane amount of food just because of how many calories you expel during a practice or a game.
For sure.
So are you constantly eating? I mean,
Yeah,
you're probably burning in a couple thousand calories every practice.
After training, they have meals for us. So as soon as you get done, showered up, and do whatever you need to do after practice, we have another place, another visiting away locker room is where we eat and get meals in after that. And that honestly, like I'll eat that meal, and by the time I'm back at the house,
You're already hungry.
I'm hungry again. Yeah. So it's just like it's really like I'd say every 2 to 3 hours
you're eating something.
I'm eating something.
Well, you're a big guy and you're lean, and then you're obviously expelling a lot of energy and calories. So tell me about your like, okay, yeah, you have your training days and stuff like that, but what's your like daily routine as far as like, you know, what time you wake up, you know, what are some of the habits that you've formed over the last 4 years now, or 3 years that you've been playing professionally? What are some of the habits that you feel like are really valuable to your life that kind of prepare you?
I say just like I've noticed, you know, sleep is a really, really big thing. Sometimes like it's still to this day, sometimes, you know, I end up going to sleep at a time that I shouldn't, and I could feel it, you know, the next day or something like that. And I'm still learning, you know, I'm still trying to get that perfect like regimen, diet, sleep, all that like down. So yeah, I'm a work in progress still, you know, but I'd say just like sleep is a really big thing. Going to sleep at a very, very good time, and just drinking a lot of water as well. And in the morning, figured each guy has a different, like some guys don't even like eating in the morning.
Yeah.
Like on my team, some like they won't eat, and I can't do that. Like I don't work with me. But if they eat, they'll like throw up.
Yeah.
Or like at practice.
I'm right
like,
there. I can't like run and expel a lot of energy
Yeah.
with a full stomach. Yeah.
So, but me, like I eat oatmeal. That's what I eat in the morning.
Okay.
Like most of the time, oatmeal is quick and easy, and I can just boil it real quick. So I eat oatmeal, and that sits in my stomach pretty good, and I'll make a smoothie.
Okay. What do you put in that smoothie?
Bananas, honey, strawberries, pineapples, like some orange juice. Sometimes I put some protein in it, depending on, you know, if I had time. If I didn't have time to make oatmeal, you know, that day, then I'll have to put protein in it or something like that. But usually, oatmeal's so quick, I have time, and I just make a smoothie as well.
Okay.
And put that stuff in it. Just a lot of different fruits.
Yeah. Just really good energy. Yeah. Just natural energy for you. That's smart. Anything else?
Say, just, you know, waking up, obviously, like I said, just getting that breakfast ready, getting everything ready, and the bed, obviously, definitely the bed's made. But no, that's really nothing else outside of that, really.
Okay. I want to talk about professional athletes have a lot of pressure on their life. You know, this is how you make your money, is how you play. Are there certain things that you do that you've implemented that help you deal? Well, first of all, how do you deal with the pressure? Because obviously you always have this pressure of like, I've got to perform today, you know, and then you obviously have the bonuses for, you know, say you make a goal, you get a bonus. How do you balance that? Do you have like a mental regiment that you kind of keep to kind of keep that stress down?
Yeah, I'd say when I step onto the field to play, like it's definitely pressure, and I feel it for sure. But I don't know, like when I step onto the field, it's kind of like not everything. Like the pressure doesn't just go away. Like everything doesn't go away, but it almost does. You know what I mean? Like I almost kind of just like, even when I was younger or like growing up, even in college, if something was going on in my life that was bad, like something with anything from like a family issue to a relationship issue, anything, I just felt like as soon as I stepped onto the field that I didn't remember like nothing. I didn't remember none of that.
You're able to like compartmentalize it.
Exactly.
Get it out of your brain.
So yeah. So say I was dealing with something off the field, going on in my life, you know. But the moment I stepped onto the field, I don't know if I try to train myself to do that or if it just happened on its own. But like when I step onto the field, I just think about the ball in front of me, you know, and that kind of same thing, almost like it's a pressure for sure. Like when I'm thinking, like when I show up, I'm like, okay, I got to perform again. Like, you know, got to perform today as well. But at the same time, I'm having fun too, because I'm in a locker room full of my teammates that I'm with all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I love those guys.
Yeah, it's a
honestly.
brotherhood.
Yeah, exactly. I love those guys. So we're joking, laughing. You know what I mean? We all know it's pressure, and we all know we need to perform, and we all know that. But at the same time, it's like almost like a family. You know what I mean? Like with my teammates. So it takes a lot of that pressure away, because you kind of are dealing with that pressure together. But at the same time, you're not at the same time, because everybody has an individual career.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's trying to go different places. You know. So, but I would say, once I step onto the field, you know, that pressure and everything kind of just eases off of me a little bit. And I'm more just thinking so much about the ball and thinking about what I'm going to do in that situation. You know, I don't really have time to think about, if I'm thinking about the pressures of, you know, this or next year, where I'm going to be at, then it's good luck. You know what I mean? Good luck trying to play. And like, because a lot of it, like you said, you know, it's mental. Like so much of it's mental. So like I've learned that more and more with different, from season to season, how my head is different every season. You know what I mean? And I'm realizing like, okay, like you perform best when you're, you know, when your head's clear, when things are going well. Like that's when you're confident. Like that's
when you believe you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's interesting, because I feel like that is a unique thing. Not a lot of people can do that, and that may be a unique trait to any sort of professional player. Just being able to push aside any sort of pressure, stress, and just really focus on the game.
Right.
I think that's awesome. That's really, I mean, I run into this stuff like in the gym, you know, as far as like physicality and certain things being more mental than actual physical strength, you know. For instance, like say, you know, I come in the gym and I can lift 275 on bench. The next week I try it and I just can't do it. I didn't get any stronger, or I'm not weaker, but it's like I almost believe that I can't. But then when I come in with that mindset, like I can push this up, like there's no doubt about it, and you come in with that clear mind and you push it up, it's like, it's so amazing how our mind can control what we're able to accomplish. So switching gears, you know, so you're with the Rowdies, you're how do you like Florida? What's your thoughts? I mean, obviously it's a little different than Texas.
Very, very much different, but I actually love Florida.
Do you?
Yeah,
okay, that's good.
I actually do love
It's
Florida.
a good spot. I like it here.
Yeah, I like Florida a lot. I just feel like ever since I came here, I just feel like I've been welcomed. You know what I mean? Never like, the fans got so much love for us too out here, like so much love for us. So it's just like I've been welcomed, and I like hot weather too. And it doesn't really get cold out here, so that's a major plus. And I went from Sweden to
it's cold
to Florida, yeah. So it was like went from whatever negative 30,000 degrees to coming out here.
Was your stadium enclosed at least?
No.
Are you serious?
Nah, the field was heated, so the snow would melt. Yeah, the field just had a heater underneath it.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Man, it was cold out there. It was cold out, but that's just they're used to that.
Well, yeah. I mean, being a Florida guy, like when I run outside, even if it's just a little cool, like you start to get that like pain in your throat, like because you're breathing in all that cold air. So I can't even imagine playing in the snow and like having to run as much as you do in soccer. That's when I do enjoy the heat. I love running outside when it's hot. So that makes sense. I can relate to that. So what's next? What's next for Leon? What are you aiming towards?
Right. That's a good question. That's a good question on what's next for me. It's kind of, you know, an open map, you know, where, you know, there's where my career takes me is, you know, all up to me and the opportunities that I have, you know. So if I have an opportunity, I'm going to take it. If I don't have the opportunity, then I'm going to have to wait until my opportunity comes,
Yeah.
So that's really where I'm at right now is, just I'm ready to spring, ready to take whatever the next, big opportunity is, or, stay where I'm at. It's just life, what I mean? Just kind of just feeling it out, trying to see, and deciding where to go next. I have a lot of people in my corner that I can speak with, and tell me how they feel or where they think, because they, like I said, I got a big family. So, and I got a lot of people outside of my family as well, that are looking out for me.
I saw this one video that you had shown me when we were filming your athlete spotlight, and it was a video of your family, and it was specifically your brother. You had scored a goal with the Rowdies, and he had gotten up, and he had the biggest smile on his face, like walking around the room. He couldn't contain his excitement, and just in that video, it was a visualization of how supportive your family is, because he might as well have scored that goal himself. He was so happy.
Sure. No, for sure.
It was just, I mean, you talk about all the time how supportive your family is, but to actually see it was really cool. It was a cool moment.
No, that was actually the first goal I ever scored for the Rowdies.
That's awesome.
That was my first American my first pro goal in America.
Wow.
So that was my whole entire family and friends were watching that game too. Yeah. So he was one of many that just scored a goal. You know what I mean? So, but that's just like bringing it back all the way to when I was younger, watching him return a kickoff for a touchdown. Like now it's, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. Like that's what I wanted. You know what I mean? I've watched that video so many times.
Yeah.
So many times.
I can imagine.
So many times. And I just liked, I like making my family proud. You know what I mean? We got a lot of pride in our last name. Mm-hmm. So, I like making my family proud, like putting my last name, on as well, So it was a good feeling watching that and knowing that my family's like, I knew when I scored, when I was out in the field, I just
you could feel that energy, feel that support.
First thing I thought it was all them.
That's awesome.
And, afterwards, obviously, I had 8 million messages from everybody about that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, this is my last question for you. One of the things I do is I ask every guest, what if you had a way to get one message out to the world, whether it be a giant billboard or a message in space, like what would be that message to motivate kids that are behind you, trying to come up and go pro in whatever they're trying to do, or just better themselves in general?
I say that everybody has a different path. Like everybody has a different pathway to where they're going in life. Some people have a straight shot, boom, straight there. From day one, they boom, straight up. Some people have, mountains that they had to climb over and obstacles that they had to go around. So it took them a bit longer to go to that, to get there, but I don't think, I think everybody it's personal. It's to them, you know what I mean? So like a lot of times, sometimes I, look at some guys I've either played with or, what I'm saying, I'm just like, man, like that's where I need to be right now too, but it's not, it's everybody's got their different path. So that's my main thing, and when that opportunity comes for you to get, there, it's just like you've either been waiting for it to come, and it's come and you got to either going to take it or it comes and you didn't take it. So, then your path changes again. It's not just like, I just feel like it's just not one path. I feel like there's so many different paths for certain different individuals.
Yeah.
But I think if you want it bad enough, and if you're determined, no matter like what's put in front of you, you'll get to your final destination.
Yeah. That's awesome. Everybody has their own journey.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all going to deal with different obstacles, and the thing with adversity is, it makes you stronger when you get through it. Mm-hmm. It sucks when you're in the middle of it,
exactly.
But you can come out stronger and you're going to learn something. And that's awesome, man.
I was watching the LeBron James. He's got a little thing called The Shop, and somebody asked him what his biggest achievement was, and he said his biggest achievement was his biggest failure. Because he said that like when he won his first NBA finals, he said he said it was easy, almost like of course, like that was easy. He won it. Like, there's no adversity. Like, he won the finals. He was the guy. But then he said his biggest failure was like after he lost the finals, he said getting over losing the finals like was his biggest achievement, because that was like the lowest time of his life.
Yeah.
So he said like people say like their biggest achievements and they say accomplishment. And he was like, he's never felt like that. He's felt like his biggest achievement was climbing out of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of a failure. And
Yeah, that's
I was
really
like,
good.
I was like, that's real. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
That's awesome. Well, dude, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been a really, really great journey just hearing your story, and looking forward to continuing our partnership. You're an ONS athlete, and I love having you on the team, and big things to come for you in the future.
For sure,
I know it.
Man. For sure. Every time we link up, it's good.
Yeah. Awesome.
For sure.
All right, bro. Thank you.